I could not live one day as a man. No way. Not only do men have to have themselves together, but they have to make sure the people that are following them are in order too. So he has to have eyesight not only for himself, but for everybody else around him. He has to lead everybody else.
A man, you are loved off of strict conditions.
I want to be soft. I want to be coddled. I want to be taken care of. I want a hug. And I want a lot of grace when I make a mistake and I mess up. And a lot of women.
You are loved based off of what you can provide, what you can protect, what can you lift, what can you do for me, or what can you do for us? And that will determine our level of respect for you. And I find it quite disturbing. You know, according to the CDC, which is the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, men are 50% of the United States population, but men are also 80% of self-unaliving. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Travis, and welcome to the IPH Theory. Also, I am one half of the Cultural Discussions. Please like, follow, and subscribe to both entertainment channels on YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a clip for you today. It's about a beautiful, intelligent, intellectual woman. Her name is Jada Bell. And Jada has a clip on her Instagram page, and she's speaking about why she would never want to be a man and she would rather be a woman. I know there's some people that are like, well, I'm pretty sure she does, but it's not about that. It's about the points that she makes. You can tell that she is a truth teller. You can tell that she's highly intelligent and knowledgeable and filled with wisdom and maturity. Anyway, the video's about 2 minutes and 35 seconds. I might play maybe 1 minute and 45 seconds, maybe 2 minutes, but I will leave the entire clip within the description. Here we go.
I could not live one day as a man. No way. Not only do men have to have themselves together, but they have to make sure the people that are following them are in order too. So he has to have eyesight not only for himself, but for everybody else around him. He has to lead everybody else, which means he does have to take his feelings and gobble them so that everybody else can lean on him. And I can't handle that. I want to be soft. I want to be coddled. I want to be taken care of. I want a hug. And I want a lot of grace when I make a mistake and I mess up. And a lot of women, we expect that other people give us grace. I mean, if I make a mistake, you should know that my emotions and my feelings got involved and I didn't mean it. But God forbid a man does that. I mean, society holds them to a certain standard, and God even holds them to a certain standard. I'm a woman, and I want to cry, and I want a lot of grace. I want people to cheer me on when I do stuff right. You know, when I think logically and it makes sense, people cheer me on for it as a woman, because it's unheard of when women hold themselves accountable and want to reach for a certain standard. You know, that's holy that God wants us to live by. But men don't get cheered on when they do stuff right. We just magnify when they do wrong, and when they do right, it was already expected of you. You don't get hugged and coddled and cheered on for it. And I just couldn't live like that. I couldn't live as a man. I would just like be done, you know? Bye. Because what's the point? I don't get a hug and I don't get loved when I try so hard. God forbid as a man, like, you mess up in any capacity. God forbid.
Okay, I only played 1 minute and 49 seconds of it, but everything that Miss Jade or Jada, everything that she said is true. You know, men, we have to be logical. We have to be rational. We are faced with accountability at all times. And I'm not saying women don't face accountability. They do. but not on the level as us. And, as a man, don't look for a pat on the back. Don't look for any applause. Nobody owes you any closure. Nobody owes you reassurance. You have to look in the mirror and give yourself that reassurance. It's one of, I have a video online, and I will leave the thumbnail here. It's entitled "Men Will Never Be Loved Unconditionally." Now, your mom might love you unconditionally, or let's just say your parents, your mom, your dad, your grandparents, your siblings. They'll possibly love you unconditionally, but the world doesn't love men unconditionally. The world loves women, children, and some people would say dogs. They love them unconditionally. A man, you are loved off of strict conditions. You are loved based off of what you can provide, what you can protect, what can you lift, what can you do for me, or what can you do for us? And that will determine our level of respect for you. And I find it quite disturbing. Like she says, as a woman, she can talk logical or speak logical. She'll be applauded for it. We better come logical, or you're going to be shamed for it. So I agree with everything that she says. And, it is tough out here for men. As you said, she wants to be hugged. She wants to be clapped for when she does something good. We don't get that. The only time they'll clap for you is if you score a touchdown, or you hit a 3-pointer, or you, baseball and hitting home runs. They'll cheer you on if you're in sports. They'll cheer you on if you're successful. But it is a long, lonely road for men, especially if you're not a rich man. If you're just an average man, it's going to be tough out here for you. According to the CDC, which is the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, men are 50% of the United States population, but men are also 80% of self-unaliving. Once again, I'm using the two words self-unaliving because I don't want to use the S word, because this video can be placed in a negative algorithm. If you're a content creator, you know that there's certain things that you can't say, or you can say, but you'll have to deal with the consequences. You will have to be held accountable for it. But once again, according to the CDC, men are 50% of the population, but we are 80% of self-unaliving. You don't self-unalive if you're happy or at peace. And I'm not trying to be insensitive. I've never thought about that because I love myself so much. And I have, my parents and my sibling and my niece and, other individuals in my life that love me. And above all that is my spirituality. I have a purpose on this planet. And my purpose is to self-preserve and self-protect. They have 3 words. You have preserve, you have reserve, and you have conserve. All 3 of those words correlate with saving and maintaining and protection and prevention. You must protect yourself. And I know that this topic is not about self-preservation, but it can go into self-preservation if we're talking about self-unaliving. Men have it hard out here. And gentlemen, if you come across this video, just know that Travis is with you. If you ever need to find a channel that brings you love and motivation and inspiration and peace, come to the IPH Theory. I want to give a special shout out to Jade, because these are the type of women that we love and that we like. Not that we don't love other women, we do, but we truly, truly love the women that can understand our plight and our fight. and our issues in society. You know, this is a beautiful topic. It's a deep topic. This is one of those subjects that can be spoken about for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, but I know a lot of you guys rather would binge watch Netflix and eat pizza and nachos and all of that. Now, I don't have a problem with pizza and nachos. I do like that, but I just can't eat it like that and binge watch TV. I would love for you to binge watch this channel because all you're going to get is truth, encouragement, and motivation, self-discipline, self-preservation. Save yourself, protect yourself. Gentlemen, it's not easy for us out here, especially if you're an average guy like myself. You know, you're not going to get every woman, and you don't need every woman. And I was getting ready to say something, but I'm going to leave it alone. But just know to control yourself, control your lust. I also have another lesson over how men need to control their lower nature. Your lust will get you robbed and it will get you unalived. It will get you set up. But once again, I want to stay on topic. Once again, Jade, and I believe that's her name. Yes, Jada Bell. Shout out to you. Based off of her profile on Instagram, she's a Christian content creator and she has beautiful content. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Travis. Welcome to the IPH Theory. May God be with you and your loved ones. Have a blessed night.